In today's Procreate tutorial, I'll show you how to draw a donut in Procreate. This is a really fun drawing to do, and you'll pick up a lot of Procreate tips and tricks along the way. So stick around, guys, and we'll get started in a few moments. Welcome back, fellow artists, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Mad Tzen and I'm a digital illustrator. I create Procreate tutorials for beginners. Welcome back, guys, so let's get started. Let's look at the color palette for the donut drawing. When you create your color palette, please make sure to place the colors in the exact same position as I've done here to make it easier for you to follow along with the tutorial. If you're not sure how to create a color palette, you can watch one of my tutorials on how to create color palettes, which I'll place the link above and also in the description below. So first, let's go to the brush library, go down to the calligraphy category, and choose the monoline brush. Then we'll go to colors and tap on the color on the top left. Then change the brush size to 13%. We're going to start off by drawing our base donut shape. Then click on the transform tool to place the shape to the middle of the canvas. Then click on transform to commit. Then go to layers, click on the plus sign to add a new layer, and we'll draw a smaller oval shape. Click on transform and center the shape, but place it above halfway on the larger oval. Click on transform to commit. Then we'll go back to layers, slide left in the small oval layer, and click on duplicate to give us 2 copies of the small oval. Click on transform, and we're going to drag that duplicate copy down like this. It's got to look like the smaller ovals are overlapping each other about halfway. In layers, we're just going to pinch the 2 small ovals together so that they become one layer. Then we'll click on the eraser tool and we'll start erasing this bottom part here. Then we'll go back to layers and we will click on our base layer and create a duplicate of that layer. Then we'll select all of our layers, click on transform, and rotate the shapes to the left like so. Then we'll go back to layers, click on the top layer. Then we'll go to colors and choose the second last orange on the top here and drag that color into this space. Go back to colors and choose the bottom right pink here and drag that into this space. Then go to layers and click on the last layer. Go back to colors and choose the second last orange on the top and drag that color into this space. Then go to layers, click on the middle layer with no color. Go to colors, and we're going to choose this top left color here again. So now what we'll do is draw on the icing, and I'm going to start on the top right and make some swerving lines to make it look as if the icing is dripping from the donut. Make sure both ends of the icing line touches the oval shape so that when we fill it in with color, the color won't spill out. Then we'll go back to colors and choose the second pink here on the bottom and drag that onto the icing. Now let's erase this line down here by drawing over it. Next we'll go to colors and we'll choose the third pink on the bottom here. Then go to layers, click on the icing image, then tap on alpha lock on the list. We're going to put shading on the icing, so I'll start on the right over here, making sure there are no gaps between the start and end of our line, and fill in any spaces that you see. Then I'm just going to choose another place to add more shading. I'm going to go ahead and add shading to the right side of every drip. Next, go back to colors and choose the bottom left color here. We'll use this for the icing highlight. So we'll place the highlight on the left, like so, making sure there are no gaps between the start and end of our line. And fill in any spaces that you see. Then I'll just continue placing highlights on the left side of every icing drip. Now if you need to fix any of your shading or highlights, just go back to colors and choose the second pink on the bottom here. So as an example, you can see that I'm using the main icing color to clean up the edges of the shading and the highlights. Then we'll go back to layers and choose the bottom layer. Then we'll go to colors and choose the top right color. We're going to use this color to put the shading on the donut underneath. Make sure to close your shape so that your color doesn't spill out when we drag that color into that area. If needed, just fill in any gaps. Let's add some more shading down here. Don't forget to close your shape and fill it in with color and close any gaps. Then we'll go back to layers and click on the top layer, and we're gonna add shading like so. Next, we'll go back to layers and click on the bottom layer again. Then go back to colors and click on the second color on the top. Now we're gonna do the donut highlight on the bottom left. Close your shape, fill it with color, and close the gaps. Next, we'll go back to layers, click on the icing layer and add a new layer. Go back to colors and choose the bottom left color. I'm just gonna add some more highlights on our icing. Then click on adjustments, go down to Gaussian blur and drag your pen from left to right until you reach 6%. Go back to layers and add a new layer, then go to colors and click on the disc icon down here on the bottom left. Now on our disc, I'm just gonna choose some random colors. I think the first one that I'll choose is red. Then I'll go to the brush size and make it 3%. I'll draw small strokes to represent sprinkles all over the icing. When you're done using that color, go back to the color disc and choose another color. I'm gonna use yellow. Next, I'll add some green. And then some purple. When you're done placing your sprinkles, go back to layers and select all the layers. Click on transform to make your donut a little smaller. And the reason for this is we're gonna add a shadow underneath. But before we add the shadow, I'm just gonna add another drip of icing on our image. Using the same colors, I'm gonna add some sprinkles. Now go to layers and click on the bottom layer. Add a new layer and drag that new layer underneath our base donut layer. Go back to colors, click on the palettes icon down here, and choose the third pink from the bottom. Draw an oval shape underneath the donut. If you made the shape too big or small, just adjust it with the transform tool and fill it in with the same color. Then we'll go back to Gaussian blur and drag the pen until you reach 10%. Lastly, we'll go back to layers, add a new layer, and drag that to the bottom of all the layers. Click on colors and choose the bottom right pink here and drag that color onto the canvas. Thanks for watching, guys. Now you know how to draw a donut in Procreate. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.